So let's talk about the new pure chase update in general. What I like, what I don't like about the update, what I think they can improve on. What I like about the update. In general, I like the addition of survival perks. I think more variety in survival gameplay and more playstyles is good. In general, more fun experience, more options in survival. I like that, that's pretty good. We'll see how the meta or whatever changes. I like the more options such as FOV increase, screen shake intensity. These are pretty good quality of life options. Stuff like that, quality of life options like that are always good for the game to improve on its overall experience. One of the also new changes they added was the ability to see stamina near the center of your screen, so like you have to look at the bottom left of the screen. I think that's pretty neat change, although you don't necessarily need it, because when you play the game for a while time you get a sense of how much stamina you have. I don't mind having it. And also some cool stuff like the 3D portrait, which kinda reminds me of Team Fortress. And I want to talk a little bit about just a few things about Cure, about MX. I want to talk mostly about MX, because he was the main target of changes in the rework. There was a lot of stuff in the testing that was shown. I want to talk about the good and the bad. I like that charging device can be turned on, that you can turn while charging. That's a pretty fun thing to do, that allows you to take corners pretty easily. And POW Hop having a bit more verticality, being able to cover more distance, that's also nice. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things I don't like about the new update, which I just want to get into. First of all, the UI feels really cluttered with the new icons and the new portrait. The portrait is cool, but it takes too much space on the bottom left of your screen. It takes too much space, and the more critical information about health and stamina are very small. And if you're playing on smaller monitors or just smaller screen in general, those numbers can get lost pretty easily. So previous icons and numbers were pretty clear, pretty big, and the old icons were also visually pretty good. On top of the screen, the portraits take a lot more space now, because not only the sizes of the icons are bigger for portraits, but you also have badges, or you can customize your portrait circle, and that can also become pretty huge. And when a lot of people customize their icons, it becomes more cluttered as well. I think that also needs to be addressed a little bit, or at least have the option to change UI scaling, at least. With the addition and changes of some perks, I like some changes, but I also don't like some other changes. Like, I feel like, for example, old quality was better than current quality, because in testing it was shown that the quality will show a lot more. In testing it was shown that quality would be like old quality, but when you stand still you see a lot more. But this feels just like a downgraded old quality. Some perks like Objective Master could also be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it is helpful for newer players to learn the maps and where objectives are located, but at the same time, I think it will also help, and in a bad way, more experienced players perhaps, to power through objectives as fast as possible. And another thing that was shown was practice mode, which did not make it to wide release. I don't know why, but I think with all the changes to cures and just in perks and stuff like that, I think testing mode is highly required, so you can test and feel how the changes work, so you don't have to wait 20 to 30 minutes to get your cure turn. Another thing I have very mixed feelings about is having percentage instead of numbers, priority numbers to get your turn as cure. Because I understand that people might be farming prior points and hopping to another lobby where they have take over another person's turn, but at the same time, imagine you're on top of the list and then someone else becomes cure in the prior. That will not feel good. So I don't know how to feel about those numbers and percentages. I think the old system was pretty good. It didn't need changes. We'll see more in the future. But now, let's get into the MX related stuff. Honestly, some other cool changes that I want to mention is that you can call your ancient skins, which is pretty nice, pretty neat. I'm gonna talk about the POW Hop. I think the POW Hop I want to talk about a lot. So POW Hop now cannot be turned anymore in air, and I don't think that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is now MX has very big problem with indoor maps. Every time you use POW Hop in an indoor map with let's say a lower ceiling, keeps hitting his head. You do power hop, you hit your head, you get stuck on the ceiling, and that's over and over and over. You use power hop. I don't think that's pretty good. That doesn't feel good to play. It discourages people from, I think, using power hop in indoor mouse because people just gain a lot of distance. Power hop is supposed to be used also as gaining distance on Survivor. At the same time, they did buff the knockdown timer, so people stay stunned for a little bit longer. That's okay. It increases the range of people getting knocked down, but at the same time, it can still be countered by, just jumping when the warning comes. Another thing I was really excited about was the Hulk jumping like Hulk, hovering great distances, but that did not make it to live servers, unfortunately. I was really looking forward to that. It was fun to see Emek jumping like the Hulk in the testing, just covering so much distance. But they changed that in the live release, I suppose. So it's not that overpowered, I suppose. Yeah, he cannot like jump over too many things, even though he has high verticality. So if you look up now, the power hop goes more vertically, but not as further. If you just look forward, it goes kind of like the same like as the bolt power hop. That's okay, but you know, it just feels clunkier. It just feels clunkier to use. I also don't mind the new changes to the animations for MX, although I think the old ones fitted him a bit more in terms of, you know, how he supposed to be a running pain train. I don't mind them. I don't mind the new animation, but it kind of feels like you're running like Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. Not a bad thing, but I would want to have his animations to be more like Mario-esque. What I currently want to see, more visibility in the UI, having sliders. I think the old priority system was better, because that will not screw over the top player on top of the list for someone else to randomly get the cure. That's what I currently think. I think this update needed a bit more longer time to have everything cleaned up, and I feel like it should have been delayed a little bit longer to just clear out everything, because at the moment there's also a lot of different graphical visual bugs that happen. Another thing that I don't like is there is no quotes anymore. When you get killed, a survivor, you don't see the text anymore, like the after you get killed. There's no like the text that appears. Just sends you right back to the lobby. I personally don't like it. It was cool to see the text. I'm not sure why they need to remove that. It wasn't that much of a bother. It was only a few seconds. It was part of the identity of the game. So again, these are my personal opinions about the update so far. Feel free to share your own opinions down in the comments. I would love to hear different opinions, what everyone thinks as well. And I'll be doing more pure chase, and we'll see if there will be any next upcoming updates, stuff like that, bug fixes, maybe some more changes to run things regarding the game, and we'll see in the future. Thank you for watching.